Hello, Pre-K. I'm Mr. Sell, and I teach band here at the middle school. And here in the room, you have the 7th grade band. So everybody wave and say hi.
Hi.
And we're going to play some music for you today. We're going to show you some instruments, and we're going to start out with a tune that you know, and that is Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. From the beginning. 1, 2, ready, and. That song, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. It's a fun little tune, and you might even know the words and sing along with us. But next we're going to talk about a few instruments. And the first group of instruments we're going to talk about are the woodwind instruments. Now, woodwind instruments are any instrument that you blow air into pretty much, and it makes a sound. It has to go over something like this. So this is called a reed, and if I was at the pre-K, I would let you see it closer, but it's just like a little piece of wood. And it's really thin, and it can vibrate really fast. And so woodwinds are all about how you blow the air into it. The only thing, it's a woodwind instrument if you don't buzz your lips, which you'll understand in just a second. And so you take this reed, you put it on like that, and then hopefully you don't squeak like I did, but it makes a sound. And there's all sorts of instruments that are woodwinds. There's flutes and clarinets and saxophones. So I'm going to let some of my students show you what those instruments sound like. And then we're going to play you another song. Ready, and. So we hope you enjoyed that little tune, When the Saints Go Marching In. That group was doing a great job with it. So next, let's talk about another group of instruments. So we've already talked about the woodwinds, and I told you you just had to blow into the instrument, and then it had to vibrate somehow. Well, the next group of instruments we're going to talk about are the brass, and it's kind of like the woodwinds. You have to blow into it, but you have to do something else too, and I think it's a little bit funny. So to play a brass instrument, like this trumpet right here, you have to do something with your lips. You can't just blow. You have to buzz. And so if you've ever made a motorboat sound with your mouth like this, that's exactly what you're doing to play a brass instrument. You're buzzing your lips, only you're doing it really fast. So you use this little thing, kind of looks like a bell. Hope you can see it. But it's not a bell, it is a mouthpiece. And so this mouthpiece you buzz into, like this. And that doesn't sound like a very pretty instrument to me. But when you put it on something like this trumpet here, it sounds like this. So I'm going to let some of my students show you how they play their instruments. And so those are the brass instruments. So our next song, which we're going to play right now, well, I'm not going to tell you what it is because I want you to guess. So you have to listen really, really close. And then hopefully your teacher can pause it and can ask you, what's the name of this song? So listen really close to our next tune and guess the name of it for me. Ready? And... Did you know the name of that song? I hope you did. Let me give you a hint if you didn't. It was about a farm and some animals and this old farmer guy named MacDonald. If you didn't know, it was Old MacDonald Had a Farm. So our next song is called the Banana Boat Song. So we're going from the farm to the ocean. So we hope you enjoy it. 1, 2, ready, and... And so that was the Banana Boat Song. Now, that wasn't our last song. We're going to play one more, but first we got to talk about one more family of instruments, and that's the percussion family. So you see all around me all sorts of different instruments, and we're going to talk about those, but I want to tell you about the most simple percussion instrument, your hands. Because a percussion instrument is anything you can hit or hit together, like your hands. So if you've ever clapped your hands like this, you're technically already playing a percussion instrument. But percussion is much bigger than that. It incorporates a lot of different kinds of instruments. For instance, like this drum here. Drums, if you've ever seen a drum set in a rock band, or maybe somebody playing their drums with their hands while you're walking down the street in a big city, all the drums are percussion instruments. So like this one, this is a snare drum. And it makes that cool sound because it's got some rattles on the bottom. So you have a snare drum. Or on the opposite side, you have like the bass drum. And since you hear the word bass, you probably think that's going to be really low. And there's all kinds of drums in between. But that's not the only percussion instruments. You have things like this cymbal right here. So this cymbal is a percussion instrument because you know how to play it? You hit it. Just like that. And it rings for a really long time, and this is made out of metal. But you also have these little instruments. The percussion family, you have instruments like this long one with 2 pieces of wood. It's just called a slapstick. It's really loud, kind of hurts my ears. You have things like this little piece of wood, and it's called a wood block. You have things like this tambourine. So all sorts of different instruments in the percussion family. But there's one more really important instrument, and that is this right here. This, move it over, is called the xylophone. And this is a different family of group of percussion instruments, but it's all the same because you hit it, but this just plays notes, kind of like a piano does. And it's really high, but you can play songs on this, you can do all sorts of stuff with it. So, before we play our last tune, let's watch some of my students play their instruments for you. Some of these percussion instruments. And so all these instruments, the ones around me, and there's many more, are called the percussion instruments, or you could just call them the drums. And those students did an awesome job demonstrating those for you. So we're going to play one more song for you. It is called Hard Rock Blues, and it's just a fun, upbeat tune, and I think it's the kids' favorite song too. So we want to thank you for watching with us today. We know this is a lot different than normal, but we're very excited that you got to see us, and we hope to be able to play for you in person someday very soon. But until then, thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoy Hard Rock Blues. And 1 and 2 and ready and